So, as it's becoming a tradition on this channel, every Friday we sit down and talk about a movie. And this time I'm reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth. I went to see it about a week ago in theaters and I've been letting sink in before talking about it here. Now let's be clear from the start. This isn't a masterpiece, but it's also not a disaster. For me, it's ranked right in the middle, about a 50-50. There are things this movie does really well and things it stumbles on. On one and the performances from the cast are genuinely solid, with one actor in particular standing out. The cinematography is also impressive, with plenty of shots that capture the scale and wonder of dinosaurs on the big screen. But on the other hand, the story and writing just don't live up to the same level. It feels like the film is missing the emotional weight and narrative depth that could have made it unforgettable. Let's start with one of the highlights, the acting. The cast as a whole does a strong job, and you can tell that the actors are giving it their all. The standout for me, without a question, was the little girl. She completely carried her scenes and with a surprising amount of charisma and emotional presence. It's rare to see such a young actress bring so much nuance to her role, and honestly, every time she was on screen, the film felt more alive. Since I was the French dub version, I also want to take a moment to praise the French voice actor. Dubbing can sometimes strip away the emotional weight of a performance, but here the French voice cast really brought it. They match the tone and emotion of the original actors so well that nothing felt off or distracting. It made the character engaging and believable. It definitely enhanced my viewing experience. If there is one area where Jurassic World Rebirth shines, it's in its visuals. The cinematography is stunning, capturing both the beauty and dangers of dinosaurs. The scale of the creatures is emphasized in clever ways. Wide shots that make them tower over the environment, close-up that highlight their details, and action sequences where you feel every storm, roar, and chase. The light and shadow are used also adds atmosphere, especially in the nighttime scenes where the dinosaurs are lurking. There are moments where the camera lingers just long enough to be suspended, and others where it swoops into giving you the adrenaline rush. The visual effects aren't groundbreaking compared to what we already seen in the franchise, but they polish, convinces, and blend seamlessly with the live action footage. In short, even if you don't care much about the story, this kind of movie that's worth seeing on the big screen just for the spectacle. Now the story. Let's get into the weaker part of the movie, the story and writing. The premise is safe as potential. Jurassic World Rebirth tried to explore themes of coexistence, how humans and dinosaurs might adapt to living in the same world. That's an idea with a lot of depth, but unfortunately, the execution doesn't quite live up to it. The story often feels like it's just moving from one big set piece to the next rather than building a natural progression of events. Some characters' decisions don't always make sense. At times, it just feels like they're doing things purely to set up the next action scenes instead of acting in a way that's true to their personalities. They are also emotional storylines introduced, especially involving family and survival, that could have been really powerful, but they don't get the time they need to resonate. Dialogue is another area where the writing slips sometimes. While there are a few memorable lines, too often the dialogue feels generic, like it could have been written for any blockbusters. It doesn't always dig into the characters' emotion or give them distinct voices. And when you have a franchise that's as iconic as Jurassic World, you expect those memorable exchanges to stick with you. Sadly, this movie doesn't deliver on that front. I know the mixed aspect of the film is its editing and pacing. The opening act is really strong. It sets the tone, introduces the characters, and builds excitement. Excluding the part where they are establishing the world. But once the movie moves to its second act, the pacing becomes inconsistent, with some scenes dragging for way too long without adding much to the story, while other key moments are rushed and over before they can fully land. For example, they are suspenseful sequences where the tension is building beautifully, but they're cut short just when they should have peaked. On the flip side, they are quieter character-driven scenes that could have been tightened up as they slow the momentum and make the middle of the movie feel uneven. By the time we get to the finale, it feels like the movie is sprinting to wrap everything up, leaving a little room for emotional payoff. But the editing itself is really clean, though transitions are smooth, action sequences are easy to follow, but the rhythm is washed off. It doesn't ruin the movie, but it does make it harder to stay fully invested throughout its runtime. Conclusion. So my conclusion is that to sum it all up, Jurassic World Rebirth is a film that lands right in the middle for me. The acting is strong, especially from the kids and teenagers. Like, they did a really great job. Like, I forget the names of the characters, sorry, but we have also the main girl, which she did a great job too. And like King K, I think that there is a character called King K in that movie. This guy did a great job at performing. Like, his acting was the strongest of the movie for me. And then the French voice actor did an excellent job at preserving the performances. The visual and cinematography absolutely worth seeing on the big screen. They give the dinosaurs the awe and intensity they deserve, but where the movie stumbled is in its writing and pacing. The story doesn't dig as deep as it could have do, and the editing choices sometimes disrupt the flow of the films. It's not a terrible movie. It has plenty of moments that are fun, thrilling, and even really impressive. But it's also not the kind of film that leaves a lasting impression once the credit roll. But by the way, if you are a fan of the franchise, you'll probably enjoy the spectacle and performances. If you're looking for a strong, memorable story, though, you might leave the theater feeling a little underwhelmed. For me, it's a 50-50. Enjoyable in the moment, but not groundbreaking in the long run.